What's going on, YouTube? You're back with Shades, and we're continuing our Let's Play of Katawa Shoujo. Last time we left off, we went on our first date with Emmy, and also we realized that she is limping on her right leg. That her right leg is hurting or whatever she said, like it's misaligned or whatever. And I'm pretty sure having a leg that's misaligned with your organic parts would cause you to limp. But I'm pretty sure she's hurting. It's like infected or something, or it's abrased. I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking that something bad is definitely coming. I don't like it. I've been trying to make choices here and there that hopefully work. If they don't, I'm gonna be sad, because I don't want to be sad. I don't like being sad. Anyway, hurry up and stretch out, Hisao. We gotta get moving. She takes off like a shot, far quicker than I'm used to. Still, I try to keep pace with her, recklessly testing my limits. It gives me a feeling of freedom, like my heart's no longer important. I find myself wanting to laugh, filled with a feeling of moving beyond what I once called my boundaries. Nurses' warnings not to overdo things echo in my mind, and I disregard them. This feeling I have, this willingness to risk a heart attack for something so trivial as a morning run, feels out of character for me. But is it? Or rather, should it be? I've got a weak heart, sure. It'll never be capable of the kind of speed and endurance Emmy's capable of, though I probably wouldn't be able to get that good even if I had a healthy heart. As we round the final bend, I feel my legs screaming in protest, but for the first time, I ignore them. I accelerate to finish the sprint, nearly catching up to Emmy. That was never going to happen, of course. Still, I feel surprisingly good. Oh sure, my legs feel like they're about to catch fire and I'm having trouble staying upright, but there's been a shift of some sort today, and it's all thanks to the girl grinning at the finish line waiting for me. That felt a little faster than usual. My comment is met with a grin and a shrug. Can't have you think I was going to go out soft on you now, can I? But you managed to handle it just fine. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. I'm just glad we didn't have like some sort of heart attack. I was scared for a second there, cause like, oh, he's sprinting now. I'm kind of scared. Like, is your heart gonna take it? Still feeling high from the run, I moved by a surge of gratitude. I seized Emmy in a hug. Thanks. Really, I'm not just saying that. I mean, you're dead. Emmy seems flustered by my words, squirming uncomfortably. Don't be silly, Hisao. Someone had to haul you out here, didn't they? And it's not like you're not doing anything for me, right? I needed a running partner, remember? I shake my head, still pointedly not letting go of Emmy, who stops squirming, merely looks up at me with a quickly deepening blush, and it almost seems out of character. No, that's not true. You wanted a running partner, but you didn't need one. If you hadn't shown up the day after the festival, you would still run, right? But it doesn't work the other way around. I only managed to make out a few times before the festival, and without you, I probably wouldn't have made it out at all after that. Emmy smiles at me and prods my chest with one finger. You are pretty lazy, Hisao. Hey, I was giving you a compliment. Well, you're welcome, I guess. I'll pay you back somehow. Oh, well, that's not necessary, you know. I mean, I kinda like you, Hisao. And being able to run with you in the mornings isn't exactly a bad deal for me either, so... For someone to get so much praise, she seems unused to gratitude. I can't think of anything else to say, so we fall silent. I become aware of Emmy's breathing, of the dampness of her clothing, and of the scent of her. Coming off of anyone else, it would stink. Coming off of Emmy, it fits her in a way nothing else could. Her skin is cool, slick with sweat, and a breeze causes goosebumps to rise. Almost without thinking about it, I lean down and meet Emmy's mouth, which has already moved to meet my own. Her lips are soft, and she hums happily as we kiss, sending vibrations from her mouth to mine. There's a startling rightness to everything about this moment. We fit one another perfectly. I hope you guys aren't excommunicating Rin, because I would feel so bad. The kiss ends, and I finally let my arms drop back to my sides. Emmy is smiling warmly at me and giggles again. Come on, Hisao, we better go see the nurse. Then it happens. She turns to begin walking and gives out a tiny yelp and stumbles forward. Emmy! I leap to steady her, and notice something concerned that she's favoring the same leg as last night. Your leg. Emmy seems panicked and pushes away from me. It's fine! My expression seems hurt, because she hastens to apologize. Sorry! Didn't mean to push you like that. I was just... She stumbles for something to say. It's nothing, really. Hey, don't worry about it. She's so flustered I decide to shrug the whole thing off, but there's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach now that won't go away. I tried to step in and help her, and she pushed me away. Smiling, I shove those thoughts to the back of my mind and concentrate on Emmy. I just don't want you getting hurt, that's all. You don't have to worry about me, honest. I'm fine. Yes, you say that, but I don't believe you. Why won't you tell me what's wrong? It's like she's getting offended by my trying to help. What am I supposed to make of that? I'm still trying to sort out what happened on the track as we arrived in front of the nurse's office. Emmy raises her hand to knock, hesitates, and turns to me, smiling guiltily. Hey, can you do me a favor? Of course. Can you tell the nurse that I'll see him later? I'll just remember I've got some stuff to take care of before class, so I really need to get moving. I peer at her closely, and she fidgets under my stare. Yeah, she's clearly just avoiding the nurse. That leg of hers. Well, whatever, I said I'd help, so I will. But I'll make damn sure she sees the nurse before the day's out. Yeah, okay, I'll let him know. Emmy looks like I've just given her a pony on Christmas. Thank you so much. You're the best, Hisao. I'm rewarded for my complicity in her lie by a kiss that makes it all worth it, so I tell myself. As Emmy heads out of the building, trying hard not to let her limp show, I knock on the door of the office. Ah, Hisao, come in. I don't see Emmy with you. She's not sick again, is she? From the tone of his voice, I don't think the nurse is expecting me to say yes, she's ill. Yeah, she said she'd forgotten to do something, and so she had to skip out, but she'll see you later today. Nurse heaves an exasperated sigh. Honestly, that girl. She's been avoiding me. Yesterday she was in and out of here without even taking off her prosthetics, and now this. Well, at least it's not just me that Emmy doesn't want worrying. That's a comfort, I guess? Still, I feel like I should say something about her leg. I said I'd lie for her, but she really needs to see him. Now that you mention it, she was limping pretty badly today. And last night as well. The nurse's eyes narrow at the words, last night. And what exactly were you two doing last night? We were, on a date. The nurse raises his eyebrows as a surprise. Really? Interesting. Huh? Oh, nothing. His gaze turns thoughtful, then grins at me. You don't think you could use some of that boyfriend charm to get her to come see me today, could you? Of course! I was planning on doing that anyway. I think she's really hurt and just pretending she isn't. Yes, she does that. I'm afraid I'll make her stop running. Will you? I don't like to, but if it's bad enough that she's been limping, well, I guess I'll have to see what's wrong for myself before I make that call. I see. Emmy not allowed to run? Perish the thought. I don't know if she'd be able to function without running. No wonder she's reluctant to admit anything's wrong. Well, I'll make sure she sees you. Good. Oh, and before I forget. He grins at me again in what feels like a vaguely threatening manner. Don't forget that I know your medications. You be careful around Emmy. Got it? What? Wow, he looks serious too. Got it. Don't hurt Emmy. Wouldn't dream of it. Grand! I'd hate for you to be late. Huh? Late, as in late Hisao Nakai. Oh my god! Sounded better in my head. Well, at any rate, get out of here before you miss your first class. You got things to do, and I'm sure. Shoo. Bleh. As I leave, I notice the nurse pulling out his phone and dialing a number. Maiko, your daughter's been a pain in the ass again. I'd better head back to my room. I really will be late. Hey, wasn't he supposed to check my heart rate? I'm guessing, like, as far from I mean, he probably should have, but he was probably like, oh, you were fine like the last 100 times I've checked your heart, so one day won't hurt. And you have been taking your medication, right? Right? Please tell me you have been taking your medication. Okay, good. You've been taking your medication. You should be fine. I'll check you tomorrow. You'll be good. Hopefully that's what he was thinking. But I'm guessing his mind was more on Emmy because she's the one who's being a pain now because she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing with her legs, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, even though I have been pushing my heart a little bit. The lunch bell sounds and I bring myself out of the stupor I slipped in during the morning classes. My lack of sleep last night, coupled with the increased pace of this morning's run, has left me a little exhausted. Despite that, I find myself skipping stairs up to the roof. There's a thrill of excitement now, in addition to the pleasure one gets from eating lunch with one's friends. True, both Emmy and Rin are still my friends, but Emmy has become more than that now. Rin is back on her usual spot on the roof, almost as if she'd never been absent. Feeling better, I take it? A raised eyebrow is my reward for speaking. Better than what? Better than you felt yesterday. Rin gives my question some serious thought. I'm not sure. I think I might have felt rather good for some of yesterday, but it's all fuzzy. Too much cold medicine? Well, I was asleep, and it usually is pretty good. But I can't remember what it feels like to be asleep because I'm not conscious for it. It's a real problem. Wait, how did she get back up? I'm just wondering. I'm pretty sure she has a way of getting up, but I'm just curious as to how she does it. Then again, if I knew how good it felt, I might not sleep anymore. But this way I keep trying, so I guess that's how I can keep from being overtired. An eternal mystery to keep you sleeping at night. Maybe mystery is the wrong word. Intangibility might be the proper way to describe it. I see. No, I don't see it all. I have no idea what she's talking about, but that's okay, since I rarely do. Do you remember what sleeping feels like? Oops, like yesterday. Do you remember what it felt like sleeping yesterday? Well, I actually didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. Maybe that's because you remember subconsciously. Actually, I think I was worrying about Emmy. Doesn't Emmy worry enough about herself? I hadn't considered that, but it gives me pause. True, but would she ask for help if she needed it? Rin frowns and I raise an eyebrow. Will I get a proper answer? Probably not. Is there something she should be asking for help with? Her leg, for starters. Seems to catch Rin's interest. Leg? It's hurt, but she won't see the nurse about it. Rin shakes her head in disapproval. You have to make her. Like she makes me go to class for her own good. Otherwise she could lose her legs again, and that's just too weird. Losing things twice. Especially if you don't find them again to begin with. Unless prosthetics are the same as finding something. But that's a different kind of lost, isn't it? I think so. I wonder. Wonder what? Emmy seems to have snuck up on Rin and me, though Rin doesn't seem especially surprised, which is in itself unsurprising, I suppose. Rin manages to sit herself upright, quite expertly, throwing her upper body forward, using her momentum to right herself. Your leg, how's it feel? That earns me a frown and a bit of a glare. It's okay, I think. Not worth worrying about. Tell that to the nurse. He's quite insistent that you visit him, you know. Emmy pouts like I've just told her she's been grounded. He worries too much. It's not a big deal, just a little soreness. I try to resist rolling my eyes in exasperation. If it's nothing, then you should have no problem seeing him, right? Emmy narrows her eyes suspiciously. Did he put you up to this? Well, maybe, a little. But that's not the point. I would have reminded you to see him anyway. It would be terrible to see you really hurt and not doing anything about it. That would make me worse, and I don't really want to see you hurt, you know? Call me crazy, but I kind of prefer to see you happy and healthy. With each statement, Emmy's frown fades a little more, and until eventually she's grinning, albeit a little shyly. Okay, thanks. Oh God, I thought she was gonna get mad. I was scared a little bit right there. Whew. Well, if you're going to put it that way, then I guess I'll have to see it. Otherwise, you'll keep worrying, and then I'll never hear the end of it, right? That's right. I'll keep bugging you about it, and that might put a damper on our dates. How's the food, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. That'd be funny. How's the food, Hisao? Talk to the nurse yet? Huh? Did ya? How's your day, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emmy. Talk to the nurse, Emmy. Hisao, I think I'm ready to go all the way. Talk to the nurse, Emmy. See, it doesn't work that well. Emmy giggles at my high-pitched rendition of her own voice and gives me an affectionate shove. My voice isn't that high, jerk. I thought it was pretty accurate. Look at her face. Emmy and I stare at Rin for a while before I burst into laughter. Emmy crosses her arms and huffs, mock offended. You're both jerks. Such vile calumnies from you, young woman. I had no idea how to pronounce that word. I hope I pronounced it right. I'm stunned that you would call me, of all people, a jerk. Honestly, I don't know what to think. Emmy sticks her tongue out at me. You ass. So, Rin, how's the art club these days? Rin, seemingly as surprised by the sudden change of topic as I am, takes a minute to think before answering. I believe it is okay. Although, Nomiya keeps telling me to work harder. But I don't think he understands my methods. He always struck me as a slightly creepy. Rin ponders the statement for a while. I've never really noticed. But I don't pay much attention to him most days, so maybe that's why. How often do you meet? Thinking of joining, Hisao? What? Nah, I've already decided to join a club. Really? Which one? Well, it's not really much of a club, to be honest. Oh, you joined the tea club? No, I joined the science club, I think. Emmy looks highly confused. You have a science club? Not really, it's just me. Hisao, that's not a club, that's sitting in your room reading books. No, I mean it's just me and Muto. I'm just the only student so far. Muto? Really? A thought strikes her. Oh, is that what you were talking about yesterday? Your meeting with Muto? Yeah, that was our first meeting, I guess. Emmy giggles. Nerd. Hey, I can't help being clever. You know, I could have used your help years ago. You should have had your heart attack earlier in life, Hisao. I laugh and then realize this is probably one of the very rare times I've laughed about my heart attack. Yeah, Yeah, people who have like disabilities like that or have traumatic experiences usually get dark humor later on. And dark humor is not exactly bad. It's just if you're used to the dark humor, you find it funny. Hindsight. Yeah. The ringing of the bell ends our conversation. I guess we better go. Yeah, I guess so. Come on, Rin, you too. Rin has apparently begun to doze off, and so Emmy gives her a sharp bump. I almost had it. Sorry, but you need to go to class. I disagree, but maybe if I nap in class I'll get it this time. Changing location is sometimes helpful for that kind of thing. Neither Emmy or I bother asking what it is. As we arrive at my classroom, Emmy gives me a quick kiss and heads down the hallway, Rin in tow. I turn to enter the classroom to be met by the duo of Shizune and Misha. I haven't seen you in a while, Shizune. Misha seems to be fighting a losing battle to keep from breaking into a fit of giggles while she translates Shizune's latest rant. While we're pleased, nay, thrilled to see how you've managed to make a new friend and forge relationships, and with such a cutie too, Hee-chan. I think the last part was probably Misha. We nevertheless feel compelled to politely remind you that public displays of affection are strictly forbidden. Really? That's disappointing, Hee-chan, by Section 8 of the Code of Conduct laid out in the student handbook. In this case, however, ignorance of the law may be your excuse, as we are feeling lenient. And the paperwork required to punish the both of you would only add to the already momentous volume of work which confronts us, the sole members of Student Council. And besides, you two are adorable together. Therefore, consider this a formal warning, and please refrain from such displays in the future, at least when Shizune can see you, Hee-chan. The whole spiel is so patiently ridiculous that I can't help but reply in the same pompous manner. Well, I, for one, feel enlightened. I apologize profusely for my rash actions, and will strive to consider my baser impulses, which I fear impel me towards such an appropriate display of public affection. It's hardly my wish to burden an already overworked student council with such petty matters, and I will do my best to make sure your lives are easier in this matter in the future. At least when Shizune is watching. This last line is delivered with a wink to Misha, who finally loses control of her laughter. I'm reading super fast again, I'm sorry. Well said, Hee-chan. Chuckling a little myself, we enter the classroom. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Everyone we've made friends with so far is like, good luck with your relationship, guy. I ship it. Rare. Class is uneventful. After the final bell rings, I find myself alone with Muto again. So it looks like we've assembled for the second meeting of the science club. Or is it the first? What do you think we should count yesterday as a meeting? Well, we did form the club yesterday, didn't we? That seems like a club business, so we can safely call yesterday a meeting. Muto smiles in his usual stilted and awkward way. I wonder if the muscle in his face are just not shaped correctly to let him smile naturally. You really do have a knack for this, I think. Logical thought process, that is. I guess so. A scientist speaks with authority, Hisao. The answer is yes, I do. When the world wants to know how it works, we tell it, even if all we got is a decent hypothesis. Sorry, I'm gassy. Jeez. Because I always record after lunch, so sorry. But we must sound certain anyway, because we are the authorities on the subject, right? He chuckles to go along with his awkward smile and his awkward joke. I'm doing my best not to grimace, but I don't think I'm being too successful. That's entirely false, of course. We know a lot, sure, but nobody's an expert in how the world works, if only because nobody can be sure. With no certainty, there are no experts. But we like to pretend sometimes. There's some things that we can be certain of, right? Yes, but no. We know gravity's there, for example. To illustrate, Muto picks up a pencil and drops it. See? Still there, but it's good to check every once in a while. That's why you'll see researchers mucking about with gravity. We're pretty sure we know how it works, but there's always a chance that something isn't how we think it is. So you check and check and check. That's science in a nutshell, Hitao. The whole time I listened, feeling rather spellbound. Muto seems to really be passionate about this stuff, I think. It's hard to tell sometimes. How the world works. How humans work. How the universe works. Oh no, existential crisis. All these questions to be answered. And depending on what I go into, maybe I could even figure out a way to fix my heart. That said, I don't think that's a real priority for me. Besides, as we start discussing the book he gave me yesterday, I find myself more and more interested in that than my heart condition. I need to calm down. Before we even realize it, an hour's gone by. Well, let's call this meeting over for now, okay? We'll have another meeting, tomorrow, or the day after. You can consider this for a moment. Call it the day after. I've got a lot of grading to do. Okay, see you then. As I exit the classroom, I realize that I don't really have anything to do tonight. Emmy and I didn't make plans, so I guess I'll go to the library. It beats doing homework in my room anyway. Are we gonna bump into more friends? I like friends. The library always seems cooler than the rest of the building, probably to keep the books from getting damaged by excessive heat and humidity. Books are sturdy objects, but if you want to keep them in good condition, it takes a little effort. I know. As I stroke my collection of books to my right. I've got several books that are so well worn the pages are barely clinging to the spine. I also have books like that, but they're typically paperback. I don't mind paperback books, but I always prefer hardcovers. If there's a hardcover copy available, I'm gonna like make a beeline for those. But I'm not exactly gonna knock off paperbacks either, because sometimes books don't get a hardback cover for some reason. Like, they don't get a hardback copy at all, and I'm just like, I'm pissed a little bit. But if they have a hardcover, I'm definitely gonna aim for that one. It seems impossible for them to still be usable, but if you handle them with care, I make my way to the main desk, where I spot Yuko busying herself with something or another. She smiles at me as I enter and waves. Hello, Hisao. Good to see you again. What are you looking for this time? Nothing in particular, I guess. I just didn't really feel like going back to my room is all. Yuko nods. Well, if you're unoccupied, maybe you could help me look for something. Sure, what you need? Yuko brings a finger to her lips and looks around furtively. She seems to be looking for eavesdroppers. Come closer. I take a few hesitant steps forward while feeling distinctively unnerved. Oh, she has freckles. Huh, didn't notice that before. Yuko lowers her voice in a confidential whisper. I'm on the trail of the Yamaku cat burglar. The what? Shh! The walls have ears, Hisao. Or they might. But listen, those missing books, remember them? Yeah. Well, they weren't missing, they were stolen. I'm convinced of it. I remember you saying something of this sort earlier, but how do you know? Yuko leans in closer, as if possible, whispers even lower. Because I found one of his hiding places. You did what? Yuko looks triumphant. Found one of his stashes. It was under one of the stairwells in the boys' dorm. 3 books I'd been looking for, all there. I suspected a thief before, but this proves it. So did you take back the books? Yuko looks as if I just suggested she'd walk around naked. Are you nuts? He can't know I'm onto him. He might go to ground and evade capture. So what do you need my help with? She said in the boys' dorm. I am like 90% sure it's Kenji. 90%. So what do you need my help with? Yuko casts another glance around the library and leans in closer. You've got to spy for me. Spy? Yeah, like when you're in the dorms, you know? Keep an eye out for suspicious activity. What constitutes suspicious anyway? I mean, Kenji's a pretty suspicious dude, but I'll wager he barely goes to class, much less sneaks into the library to pilfer books. I'm pretty sure it's him. 90% sure it's him. Still, what's the harm in saying yes? At least it'll get me out of this weird conversation. Yeah, I can do that, no problem. Yuko straightens up and claps excitedly. Great! Now, hurry up and talk about something else in case someone comes in. How's the school treating you? Pretty well, actually. I've been running in the mornings with... Emi Ibarazaki, right? Yeah. How'd you know? I served you two in the tea house, remember? I'm trying to find the right voice for her, I don't know. I deduced that if you're gonna run with anyone, it would probably be her. She looks pleased with herself. Impressive. Anyway, yes, we've been running in the mornings. And, we kinda started dating. Yuko claps her hands together excitedly. Really? That's great! I'll bet you two are great together. I love seeing people find one another like that, you know? I even thought to myself when you walked into the Shanghai that one time, I wonder if this kid will end up with one of those girls. Really? Yuko doesn't seem to notice my somewhat weirded out tone and nods affirmatively. Hey, when I see two people together and they get along great, I can't help but ship them. Come on, shipping is fun. I often don't like shipping, like real life people. Like, I do it as a joke. Like, oh, these two look so cute together, but I don't actually mean it like get together, goddammit. But it always strikes me as odd when people like really ship real people. Like, not like fan art on Tumblr or something like that, but like they go up to him and be like, why aren't you dating him? He's perfect. You guys would be beautiful together. Like that weirds me out. Yep, I could tell that you'd wind up with one of them, you know? I've got an eye for that sort of thing. Of course, her expression droops slightly. I'm not so good at it myself. Oh, I'm sure that's not true. Oh, it's true. I met this guy once. We got along really great, but it turned out he was younger than me. And that was kind of weird, but not terribly so. What was really weird was that he disappeared one day, and I've not seen him since then. Huh, that does seem kind of odd. Doesn't it? I hope it wasn't something I did. I feel compelled to reassure her. I'm sure it wasn't. I tend to try and calm her down further, but the both of us jump in surprise at the ringing suddenly coming from my pocket. Yuko sighs to steady herself as I pull the phone from my pocket. I feel a little sheepish for indirectly causing the incident. Emmy, what's up? Oh, thank God, I haven't called your phone before, so I didn't know if this number would work or whether you would pick up, and I can't. Whoa there, Emmy, slow down. What's wrong? There's a pause on the other side of the line, during which I can hear Emmy trying to control her breathing in order to calm down. Something's got her terribly agitated, and it's starting to agitate me. Can you just stop by? Like now, or shortly after now? I really need to talk to you. There's a tone of pleading in the last sentence that I don't think I've ever heard from her. Of course, I'll be right there. Hold steady, okay? In my increasingly agitated state, I've apparently started saying things that don't quite make sense. Okay, I'll be okay. See you soon. I press the button to end the call before slipping the phone back into my pocket. I apologize to Unico for running off and run off. Perhaps at some point I would have stopped to think about time or how suspicious it looks for guys to enter the girls' dorm at this hour. Except right now I'm just concerned with getting to Emmy and finding out what's wrong and how I can help her. I knock on the door and I'm greeted with a subdued, "Come in." Something is very wrong as I stare at the scene before me. Emmy's there, yes, but she's in a wheelchair, and her legs are missing. I glance around the room and see them sitting in a corner, looking like they've been thrown there. Emmy responds to my entrance with a lopsided grin that is both pleased to see me and completely and utterly heartbroken. "Hi, Hisao." Looks like she's been crying, but if she was, she stopped now. I notice that I'm a little out of breath, having taken the stairs 2 at a time in order to get here. My heart doesn't seem to mind the strain, though I file this happy fact away for later consideration. Like when I'm not staring at somewhat dumbstruck at my girlfriend in a wheelchair. Reeling as I've still not responded to her greeting, my brain lurches into gear. Emmy, what happened? Guess I should have listened to you, Hisao. My legs got a nasty infection and I'm not allowed to run for at least a couple of weeks. She gives a bitter laugh that shouldn't be coming from her. Heh, I can't even walk on it. I could have used a crutch and kept one of my legs, but I didn't see the point. Why hop when you can't run on one leg? At least this way I can still, I don't know, roll fast or something. Yeah, that's good, right? My awkward attempt to look on the bright side seems appreciated, but it's not really effective. Emmy shrugs again. It's just kind of a nuisance. I mean, we can't even eat up on the roof now, no wheelchair access. Yeah, but that's not a big deal, right? I mean, we can still eat together, and that's the important thing. The lopsided grin again. It hurts to look at it. I suppose so, yeah. But like I said, it's a nuisance. I mean, I haven't really used a wheelchair in... She thinks for a minute. Maybe 7 years. Something like that anyway. A long time. I'm afraid I'm a bit out of practice. Well, fortunately it's only temporary, right? Emmy nods. Hell yeah, of course. It's not like I've lost him permanently. But it's a pain in the ass all the same. I nod sympathetically. There's not much else I can do after all. What am I gonna do? Say I told you so? Although I did tell her to get that leg looked at. But by the time I noticed it was too late anyway. Do you need help with anything? That is... Can I help with anything? Emmy shakes her head, and there's a bit of her usual grin back. Nah, I can manage fine by myself. Although if you want to help me over to my bed, it would save me the trouble of rolling over there by myself. I blush in spite of myself. Emmy giggles. You're such a prude, Hisao. I'm not a prude, I just wouldn't want to take advantage of a young woman such as yourself. Ugh. God damn it. Whatever. It's ungentlemanly. I wheel Emmy's chair to her bed and easily scoop her up and deposit her there. She quickly sorts herself out and sits on the side. She's actually a little heavier than she looks. It would be rude of me to observe this out loud, of course. I mean, she is an athlete, so I'm guessing that she's like densely packed, so man, you're kinda Wow, I thought you weren't gonna do that. Smack. Emmy hits me with a pillow. Ass. Just saying is all. Must be all that running. At the mention of running, Emmy's grin falters slightly. Heh, well I guess I won't have to worry about that for a bit, huh? Maybe I'll lose some weight. That's what you do to lose weight, right? Cease physical activity? I'm pretty sure that's what the nurse would recommend. Speaking of which, are you gonna still be showing up in the mornings? I'd hate to run alone. Ah, shit. Emmy's sudden interjection, a more disquieted muttering, then anything too profane, causing me to look over in shock. She's leaning forward, trying to cover the fact that she's crying by covering her eyes with a hand. Of course, the subdued sobbing makes it pretty obvious that she's crying. Hey, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything, okay? I place a hand gingerly around her and pull her close. I could think of nothing else to say or do. How do you comfort someone who just lost their legs again? Emmy wraps me in a hug, and stays that way for a while. Sorry. I'm pretty bad at this whole comforting thing, I guess. Don't say that. I'm fine, really. Her voice is slightly muffled by my chest. I pat her head reassuringly. That's the spirit, right? And I am just on time, okay? I'm gonna end it here because I want to quickly get to the next part. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I know I keep leaving really weird cliffhangers, but it's just because, like, I keep thinking, I don't know how long this conversation is gonna be, how long it will last, blah blah, things like that. So I'm just like, maybe I could squeeze one more conversation in. So I'm sorry about that. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from myself, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And you are now exiting the Shadyverse. My name's Shades, and I hope you've enjoyed your day in the shade. See you guys later.